When it comes down to experiencing a great quality of life, it's choosing the right business. There are certain businesses that will align better structurally with having a better quality of life. Most entrepreneurs feel completely overwhelmed. They go to bed with their brain spinning, wake up with their brain spinning. There's not enough time in the day for them to do what they want to do. And they'll often sacrifice their family life. It's not that you are wanting to not spend time with your family, but you got a business that you put all this money in, you need to make sure it's successful. All right, welcome to the Franchise Empire Show. Today in this episode, we are going to be talking about a very, very, very important topic, which is work-life balance. And when I say work-life balance, this is about you stopping feeling like you're not able to spend enough time with your kids, or you no longer feeling overwhelmed or swamped in work, or feeling like work is taking over your life, or your business is taking over your life, and your kids never seeing you, or how to start and scale a business while having a family, while having kids, and how do you maintain being present with them and spending quality time with them and spending quality time with your spouse while also building a business? How do you make that transition when you have a job, you have kids, and you have a business? So that's exactly what we're going to talk about in this episode today. I'm going to share with you specific strategies, mindsets that I've used personally in growing our different businesses that my wife and I use now, different strategies that we use. So go ahead and grab a pen and paper if you can, or your phone, something to take notes on, because this is something that I want you to leave this episode here with tangible things to implement. And I'm going to start saying this here on the podcast more. I say it a lot in the mastermind for franchisees, which is I don't want this to be something that you just listen to passively or watch, depending upon if you're watching on YouTube or if you're listening on a podcast platform. Most people just get more and more information. They don't do anything with it. You don't need more information, right? What will help you and support you the most is taking action on the information that you have. Because knowledge is not power. Applied knowledge is power. So I would love for you to apply this so that you can experience a better quality of life with your family. So let's jump in. So here's number one. Here's the first thing, because I know that there are a couple of you watching that are different audiences. Number one, you are already an entrepreneur. You are either a franchisee, maybe you own a different business, or maybe you're a franchisor and you're a founder, because I know that some founders of franchisors watch this. Or you're an employee. You're looking to buy a franchise. You're thinking about buying a franchise, and you haven't yet pulled the trigger. And so this episode will be highly relevant to both of you, and I'll paint it from a different picture on both sides. But the first thing is, when it comes down to protecting your quality of life, experiencing a great quality of life, it's choosing the right business. What do I mean by that? There are certain businesses that will align better structurally with having a better quality of life. There are franchises that are Monday through Friday type businesses, right? Maybe like a staffing franchise. You're typically going to be in an office Monday through Friday. You're probably not going to work much on the weekends, right? Or some of these small business print shops probably don't work as much on the weekends. Now, if you are going to get into the food business and you want a food franchise, your quality of life's probably going to be crap unless you have multiple locations and multiple managers. Here's why. And here's what's kind of spurred this podcast episode. Number one, I had a call yesterday with someone where the wife stays at home and the husband works, and he's like, man, I barely see the kids. The kids, they'll say, Daddy, do you really have to go to work today? And, pulling really, really long days, and they have young kids, and the wife is at the point where it's time to think about starting to go back to work. And they're like, we want to create memories with our family. We want to create generational wealth, and we want to be there. We want to experience more time with their kids. And then I just got this message today on Instagram about this person, and she's saying, hey, look, we have 2 kids, age 2 and 7, looking for other ways to generate more income. And we want to be more present for our children. But here's what's conflicting. They're looking at a food franchise. A food franchise is not going to align with quality of life. Sure, you could watch this and say, Tariq, that's not true, X, Y, Z. This is my opinion, and based off of my experience. Why do I have this opinion? And this is not to just like poo-poo on food franchises. I think there are a lot of franchises that are pretty much 360 plus days a year type business. So when we owned our franchises, our juice and smoothie bar was open 363 days a year. I think the only days we weren't open was Christmas and Thanksgiving. The day before Thanksgiving, we were open, maybe a little bit. We'd close early. Christmas Eve, we'd be open. We'd close early. New Year's, we're open. So 363 days a year, we're open. Imagine just with the natural challenges that happen in business, working with people and humans, all of the problems that could come up being open that many days a year, right? And then in that sort of business, food is known to, and again, I'll just keep using this as the example, it's known to be one of the highest turnover type businesses, right? And then who are you hiring? A lot of teenagers and kids who call out sick. So if I could tell you all of the days that in owning those franchises that someone called out sick, no one was able to cover their shift. Guess who covers the shift, guys? Me. Now, you may run your business where you may not do that, and you may let the business run short-staffed, and they'll just have to deal with it. And there were some circumstances where I may have not been available, and they may had to push through. But if I could, I was there. I mean, I'm talking about leaving the golf course early, canceling tee times, doing something with the family early to go cover a shift in the store. And there are some businesses that you probably won't ever have to deal with that. And so the first thing is to choose a business that puts you in the best position for success. All right. If you need help, locating a franchise that aligns with, your quality of life and what your vision is, then reach out to, me and my team, and we'd be happy to help you, one, gain clarity on what that even looks like, in terms of, what you want in your life, what you want to experience, and then 2, align it with the right opportunity for you. But let's jump on to the next one. So in order to optimize family time, and actually before I get to this next one, most entrepreneurs, right, we're shifting to more of the now entrepreneurial advice. Like now you're now in your business, right? How do you do it? Most entrepreneurs feel completely overwhelmed, right? They go to bed with their brain spinning, wake up with their brain spinning. There's not enough time in the day for them to do what they want to do. And they'll often sacrifice their family life because you got to keep the ship floating. So it's not that you don't want to sacrifice. It's not that you are wanting to not spend time with your family, but you got a business that you put all this money in, you need to make sure it's successful. So how do you set yourself up for success to win in your family life and to enjoy it and have a good quality of life while you're running your business? Hey, so I recently put together a list of 5 low-cost franchises that make $1 million or more. If you want to see that list, then click the link below in the description or go to franchiseempire.com/low cost. Let's get back to the episode. So number 1 is to calendar family time. Calendar family time. So You may be used to calendaring business, meetings, work events, interviews, whatever. We calendar family time. We plan ahead. So as an example, in terms of my marriage, we have a weekly reoccurring date night that's calendared. Today, I'm recording this on a Wednesday. Tonight is date night. Wednesdays are date night. Bridget meets me at the office at 5:30, and we go and do date night on Wednesdays. It's non-negotiable, and it's not non-negotiable and like it's an act of like you have to do this, forcing it. We enjoy it. It's time together to connect. We have a 1-year-old and a 4-year-old. It is utter chaos at home. Let's be honest. Let's be real. For those of you who have kids, you know what I'm talking about. Just this morning alone, and I'll tell you what I do to combat this, which will be another thing that will contribute towards your quality of life. But this morning, we got our 4-year-old running around the house, screaming, dropping toys, throwing toys, rolling things around. Then our 1-year-old is screaming, trying to tackle him. I'm trying to walk. She's grabbing my legs, so I'm trying to walk. It's utter chaos. So it's hard for Bridget and I to have this very simple conversation. So calendar time with your spouse. Also, one of the things that we do is we calendar family meetings. Family meetings, meaning Bridget and I. And we use that as an opportunity to plan our life. So every Friday morning, Bridget and I have a sit-down meeting. It is calendared. It's on both of our calendars. We keep notes of the meetings, and we'll add things to it in advance. And this is where we'll do things like, hey, what are we doing this weekend? What are we doing this weekend, or what are we doing next weekend? Let's plan it. Let's set up our reservations for date night. Let's plan stuff with the kids. Let's look at our finances. What's our budget? Or, it's our time to plan and talk about money, finances, family, etc. So that will be something important that you do with your spouse. You can do that now, whether you own your business now or not. But if it's not calendared, it won't happen. And it needs to be a recurring meeting. It needs to happen at the same time every week. Because if you're trying to schedule it at a different time every week, it's going to be nearly impossible. You're going to set yourself up for failure. Now you also might say, hey, well, Tariq, our schedules are tight. We're both working. We're both in the office. And then we don't have a lot of time to be able to do that. We have the kids. This brings me to my next piece of advice in order to enhance your quality of life, which is to buy back your time and to outsource. And that's a fancy word for hire help. So one of the things that we do, and now I realize that everyone may not be in this position. Bridget and I have worked extremely hard and have been very intentional about our finances and our businesses to be able to afford to do this. But we pay a tremendous amount on childcare every year. So in addition to our 4-year-old going to his Montessori school, we have a full-time nanny. So during the week, our 1-year-old, we don't put her in daycare. We have our nanny take care of her. And our nanny helps also with doing laundry and cooking dinner and all those things. So we buy back our time for that so that we can have more time to do high impact things for our family. It's not just, when I say high impact or high, it'll generate a high ROI, a return on investment, but I don't mean just a return on investment financially. It creates a high return on memorable experiences. It creates a high return on happiness or fun or whatever it is. And so we also, then separate from that, we have a babysitter come on the weekends for a couple hours a day. And so we'll use that as an opportunity to either spend one-on-one time with one of the children, or, Bridget and I may go do something with our 4-year-old while our 1-year-old's at home napping. And then we'll go do something fun. Or Bridget will do one-on-one time with him, or I'll do one-on-one time with him. And if that's the case, the other one of us will work. So my recommendation to you would be to buy back your time and hire help, whether that's a house cleaner or a landscaper, or like there are certain things that you are doing that in order to generate a higher return, you're going to need to put that time and energy elsewhere. And in the beginning, it may be tight financially to make that investment, but that's what I would see it as. Like if you spend a couple of hours a week cleaning the house, hire a house cleaner to come weekly. You may pay $300-$400 a month on house cleaners, but with that 1 to 2 hours a week, if you are intentional about putting back that time into high impact things, specifically in your business, high impact activities that can help you generate revenue and grow your business, then sure, you may spend $400 a month on house cleaners, but you're able to maybe generate an extra $4,000 a month or $10,000 a month, depending upon what your business is. And so that's one of the things that we do in order to improve our work-life balance.
Hey, so if you want to learn the right way to own a money-making franchise without putting your family at risk financially, then check out our free masterclass at franchiseempire.com/masterclass. Let's get back to the episode.
Another thing that we do, actually, I want to talk about this in a second. This is a really, really good one. And right now, like, as you notice, I'm not in my normal backdrop, right? Why? Well, I'll tell you about that in a minute. But here's one of the things that I do personally. Bridget will do this occasionally, but this is something that I tend to do, which is I will wake up early and get work done. Some of you might go, I'm not a morning person. I like to sleep in. That's cool. You figure it out. Like we talked about this in our franchisee mastermind. And one of the individuals said, well, I'm a night owl. I'd rather stay up later and get the stuff done later than wake up earlier. Cool. Yeah, whatever works for you. But the whole concept is to get in time when it's quiet. Be able to get dedicated, focused work time in above and beyond your normal workday when it is quiet and there are no interruptions. So for me, what that looks like, as an example, the last few mornings, I'm up at 5. I'm pretty much at my computer at 5:30 a.m. and I'll work from 5:30 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. Our son usually wakes up around 7:30. And so I'm able to get in a solid hour and a half to 2 hours fresh in the morning, no interruptions, right? And I got this concept from Craig Ballantyne. He's a guy on the internet. He has something called like the perfect day formula. And it's in that time, what you want to do is you want to work on your non-urgent, important activities. So like the projects that you keep putting off, or the things in your business that it's like, I know I need to do that. I know it will have a great impact on the business, but it's not urgent. So I've been just spending my days putting out fires, and I haven't been spending time on this, right? So like for me, that could be creating a new version of our course, or writing out content, or, going through old emails, whatever it is. You find something that creates impact. You want to just wake up early and just do nothing, and that 2 hours goes by, and then all of a sudden you're like, what did I actually get done? So that's super key. And then from 7:30 to 9 a.m. is family time. And it's like the craziness of getting the kids ready and, all that stuff. And then, so if I do that routine, what will happen is then I'll go drop Caleb off at school, or in this case, summer camp. And then I'll typically go to the gym. So because I got that few hours in already, then maybe I'll go to the gym from like 9 to 10 or 9 to 10:30. And then sometimes I'll do it reverse. I'll wake up early. I'll be in the gym by 6, be back home by 7:30, and then, in the office at 9, whatever it is. And again, quality of life, right? We're talking about quality of life. And again, I want to get to this last thing, which I think is going to be very fascinating for you. This is going to be like the holy grail of all of this in just a moment. But one of the things that really helped me, before I go into that, here's what I was doing. Here's what my typical day would look like. Yeah, I might have a to-do list, a bunch of stuff on it. I would just start working and just start working. That's it. Like I might open my email. I'd get sucked into things, into my email. And then the day would go by and it's like, what did I get done? Or I got a bunch of stuff done, but I didn't actually get done the thing that was the most important or the highest leverage for my business. In the beginning of when you're starting your business, the highest leverage thing you could do and focus on are two things: sales and marketing and recruiting. So as the owner, you want to make sure that you're focusing on sales and marketing, because you could have the best operational business and all your operations could be perfect and dialed in. But if you don't have customers or enough customers, it doesn't matter. So you got to focus a lot of your time on sales and marketing, optimize for that, right? And then the second thing is recruiting. You always want to be bringing in good talent. That's how you're going to buy back your time in your business and scale and grow. You're not going to be able to do it by yourself. And if you want to have great quality of life, you've got to rely on your team. And that starts by bringing in good people and investing in them and training them, etc. Here's the caveat. If you're not generating enough sales, you can't afford to bring in more staff, or you can't afford to pay people on the higher tier to bring in higher quality people, right? So back to my point of prioritizing, here's what I do now. I keep a running list in my iCloud, and they have the little checklist bubbles that you can put where you can check off where things are done. It automatically drops it down. And every single day, before I sit down to work, I identify my top 2 to 3 targets. So what are the top 2 to 3 things that, as long as I get those things done today, today's a win. Even if I don't get anything else done, if I get those 2 to 3 things done, today is a win and I have moved the needle forward. And then below that, there will be, like right now on my list, there's probably about 20 other things below my top targets. And so every day you want to get in the habit of doing that, so you're being intentional about doing the things that actually move the needle in your business. Here's the consequence to that if you don't do that, is that you wind up spending a lot of hours working, not getting as much done or not being as effective in the work that you're doing, which then you feel the pressure or need to have to work more and put in more hours, which takes away from your family time. So if you're more intentional and effective with the time that you have, getting the important things done, and at the end of the day, you feel like, okay, great, I only got 2 things done, but I got 2 really, really important things done that move the needle, it will allow you to be more present with your family. It'll allow you to feel better about taking time off. Is this making sense? So that's one of the things that I do. It's been a game changer for me. Super helpful. Okay, so the last thing that I want to tell you about, which I'm really excited to share this, and I may have talked about this before, which is for the last, I think it's been the last 3 years now, Bridget and I, the last week or so of the year, this year it's actually going to be this second week of December we're going to do it, but we will have someone watch the kids, and we'll either go spend the night somewhere, like at like a nice hotel or something like that, or we'll go to an area that inspires us, that's exciting. The very first year we did this, we were in Key West in Florida, and my mom was, we only had Caleb at that point. So I don't think Bridget was even pregnant yet. Or was she pregnant? I'm trying to remember. Anyways, So we went to the Florida Keys and we sat on the beach and we went through every area of our life. We set individual goals and experiences that we wanted to have. And then we combined those and created family goals. So what that looks like is we got clear on specific business goals individually and then financial goals as a family. How much money do we want to save and invest this year? How much money do we want to make? We got clear on family goals in terms of like travel or entertainment. And so this past year, we went and we booked a night at the Ritz, which was awesome and incredible. We got like the clubhouse level. And so we got access to the club. And the one that we stayed at was a really nice club level. And we blocked off like 4 hours and we went through this together. And it was just, it feels amazing to plan and to set goals in an environment that excites you and that it inspires you. I mean, look, it's cool. Doesn't mean you can't get in state and get pumped up and really start imagining it and visualizing it if you're in your garage or, in an area that isn't quite as uplifting. But at this point in time, we find that triggering that emotion and that state helps us. And it helps us think big. And it helps us imagine. It helps us, emotionally experience and tap into what it is that we want to experience. So one of the things we did was we said, okay, number one, I thought, the kids' birthdays around the same time. Caleb was going to be turning 4. Our little girl Sophia was going to be turning 1. And their birthdays were only like 3 weeks apart. So we were like, let's throw a huge birthday party and invite our family from all over, multiple states and friends. And so we had this we planned it. So we were planning it 4 months in advance, an awesome birthday party. And it's about the memory. It's about the experience, about coming together as family. We have pictures and videos and just experiences now that will live on forever because we planned it. We used to be horrible planners. We would be scrambling last minute and then stressed out and frustrated and snapping at each other because we didn't plan anything. And so quality of life isn't as good. So that was an amazing experience. One of the other things we did was, we live in Orlando. It's super hot in Orlando. And so, again, this is last year in December. We said, hey, let's plan a place that we can just go for like 3 weeks or a month and leave Orlando and still work. We'll make it a little workation. We have the flexibility right now to be able to work from wherever we choose. And so we planned that early on. And so we're on our last week here in North Carolina. And it's been like 15 degrees cooler than Orlando. It's been awesome. So I'm in this office share. I rented an office for 3 weeks. And we brought our nanny with us. We enrolled Caleb in a summer camp here. And we were able to have a new experience as family. And Bridget and I have been taking Fridays off. So we've been able to have additional time together as a couple, going out hiking and doing amazing things. And like we booked this trip. We're here now in August. I booked the trip 6 months ago. We would never, I'll tell you what, it used to be we would figure out we want to do something. It's last minute. It's the week before. The places we really want to go to are booked up or don't have that availability because we're planning last minute. And then, it wasn't the experience that we could have had. And so because we planned early, we get to have the experience that we really want to have, which is really cool. And so it's been an awesome experience. We also plan health goals and we get aligned together. That's actually how I got started running Spartan races over 3 years ago. Was when we were sitting on that beach, I thought, I want to do 2 competitions. I want to have something to train for that'll keep me in the gym consistently. I need to have a goal, a target. And I was like, oh, I could do a Spartan race. That would be awesome. And so now I've done, I think over the last 2.5 years, almost 3 years now, I've done, I think, 9 races. Now, what's cool is we lined up this trip. There's a Spartan race here in the area right before we leave. And so the last thing we'll do for the trip, I'll do my Spartan race, and then we'll head out home. And so again, these are just the things that we plan. We plan who's contributing to what kids' 529 college plans. Like our kids already have, a pretty decent amount of money in their college savings plans. And again, I don't say these things to like brag. It's just that it wouldn't happen if we didn't plan and if we weren't entrepreneurs. We wouldn't be able to generate the income that we do and create and experience the lifestyle we do without owning a business. And again, what's unfortunate is that the average business owner is a workaholic and they're a slave to their business. They're working all the time. They don't know how to build a team. They don't know how to delegate. Their family life suffers. And so I don't want that to be you. I want you to be able to create structure. And some of you like probably cringe at the word structure. I know Bridget and I used to. The word discipline. To me, the word discipline has such a positive connotation now. It used to have a really negative connotation. Like the idea of discipline, right? When I was younger, they called it being disciplined, meaning you were going to get spanked, you were going to get in trouble. Like being disciplined or getting disciplined had a very negative connotation to it. And Bridget and I had this conversation years ago, but she worked with a business coach for, I think, 6 years straight with Tony Robbins, and they worked on reframing that discipline equals freedom. And so that's what I want you to take with you from, this episode, is that discipline equals freedom. Like disciplining your life and your ability to wake up at the same time, go to bed at the same time, schedule family time, follow some sort of routine. It's going to create freedom in your life. At first, it might be hard to get used to, but the more that you're structured, the more that you're going to set yourself up for success. So if you've enjoyed this podcast episode, if you liked it, if you got value, if you feel like this is providing value to your life, please like the video. If you're watching on YouTube, drop me a comment below. Just let me know what your thoughts are. Something simple, or a smiley face, or hey, great episode, or really liked it, or I liked when you talked about this. It's all free, guys. It costs you nothing to hit the like button or leave a comment. It literally helps the algorithm show the video or the podcast to more people. If you're on a podcast platform, again, if you can leave just a quick review, it'd be super helpful. But I'd also just love to know your thoughts in the comments. What do you think of this topic? What part are you excited to implement in your life? And what other topics would you like to hear about on this podcast that you think would add value to your life? Thanks so much for watching the Franchise Empire Show, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.
Hey, before we go, thank you so much for listening to this episode. Please subscribe here on YouTube if you haven't already. And the biggest thank you that you could ever give me is to share this episode with someone who you think will benefit. That means that we can share this message with more people and hopefully positively inspire them like we have you. So thank you. And until next time, go build your empire.